Well, they say I'm live and I have checked my microphone. My microphone is working. I need you guys to verify that. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Bunker Nation show. My name is Michael Bunker. I'm going to be your host for the evening. I am here to just talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. Wasn't here last night, had no power almost all day today. And then the last hour or so, sun came out. And so I figured I might as well try to do a show, see what's going on where you guys are. Hey, if you're out there, type into the comments section. Tell me where you are, what's going on. Just say hello. Also, smash the like button and all that jazz. You all know what to do. Subscribe, etc. Gently caress the like button. Anyways, I'm here to talk with you guys. For those of you who are new, or if you're watching this sometime in the future and you're looking back in time at us recording this and it happening live, I am a homesteader, off-gridder, author. I do stuff. I do a lot of stuff. I like make stuff and you know, make stuff. I just got done eating 3 huge protein pancakes. Blueberry protein pancakes. Almost had trouble getting them all down. My stomach is only like less than like that big now. But I got it all down. 556 calories, 56 grams of protein. Bam. All right, everybody. Type your comments in there. Let me know where you are. Hello, Prosper, Texas. Terry Dunlap's over in, he says, on the road from Odessa. Where are you going? Oh, you're going back home to Andrews. Nancy's in the Pinelands in New Jersey. Hello, Pat in Montana. Good to see you guys. Pile on in here. We're going to sit around and talk a little bit, see what's going on. I got gnats flying around. We've had so much rain. It's good rain, but the bugs are pretty adamant. You never know what words I'm going to use, but they're pretty adamant. Hava out in Miami. Good to see you. Hello, Bellevue. NE, Nebraska. I was thinking New England. I don't run into Nebraskas that much. All right, well, good to see you guys. Glad everybody could be here. So a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of stuff I got to talk about. First show in June. I started doing these kind of regularly right after things started boiling over with the illness that we shall not mention. And it's been an interesting ride. A lot of the stuff that I talked about way back in early March are happening. I talked about riots. I talked about societal dissolution. I talked about meat scarcity. I talked about all kinds of stuff. And now it's kind of a weird deal because I was in grocery stores today. And I see stores because I went to a couple of them. And they got all the stuff. All the stuff's in there. Got plenty of stuff. But the rest of the society seems to be kind of melting down. And just the fact that they had stuff doesn't really mean all that much. I think I mentioned this on Facebook, but in our little grocery store, they have a little freezer for reduced meats. It's usually like the stuff that's a day or two old and they want to get rid of it. And forever, you could go over there. Hey, Carrie, you could go over there and you could get hamburger for like $2.39, $2.49 a pound. And today, in the reduced meats, it was $5.99 a pound. So I got to thinking. I said, Bunker, you got a bunch of cattle. Wouldn't it be nice? And my cattle's not like those cattle that are in that hamburger at the reduced meat deal. For those of you who don't know, I raise pure Longhorn cattle, which are vastly different than the Longhorns that you know and have heard about and probably seen in people's front pastures, riding down the road or at parades and whatnot. Those are, we call those longhorns. Those are commercial longhorns that have been interbred freely with African and European cattle in order to produce an animal that has monstrously big and useless horns and uh, produces more meat per pound. I don't know, whatever they do. And we have that as on record. The head of the TLBAA, the Texas Longhorn, whatever association, says that it's impossible to know what is a pure Longhorn, and therefore they don't worry about that. They'll register a ham sandwich. So we raise pure Longhorn cattle that are DNA tested and that are historically correct, going back to Spain. And these cattle are rare. There are only about 4,500 of them in the world. There's only 60 or 70 herd sires in all of the world. And so pure Longhorn beef is in every way scientifically different than regular commercial beef. It's more along the lines of what beef was like back in history, way back in history. A friend of mine who's a famous writer, science writer, heard me talking about this spiel on a radio show one time, and he is into that sort of science and went and did a whole study. And if you look at the tree of how cattle have been interbred and have been modified and have been crossed so that they can enhance certain traits, the pure Longhorn cattle, as opposed to the regular Longhorns, broke off early on and is still that way. It's still maintained by small cattle producers like me. And we are all part of a group called the Cattlemen's Texas Longhorn Registry. And and the thing is, they've run studies and stuff on the meat. And the meat is more like along the lines of salmon as far as really, really good fats, very low in fat, but it's still a tender meat. And the omegas and stuff are more like fish as far as that goes. So it's not like eating regular hamburger at all. And for those of you, and a bunch of you out there probably watching this have had my hamburger before, it tastes better. That said, sorry to entice you, but I intended, my mind started working and I said, Bunker, you have cattle. Why don't you try to help some folks out? Take a couple of cows to the butcher, have it ground down to hamburger, and then we could have better hamburger for probably less money. Makes sense. Well, my wife called all the butchers within driving distance. And the earliest date we can get a cow to the butcher, get this, you ready? February 8th, 2021. Now, that tells you something. I'm going to talk more about the Longhorns in a minute. Now, I can't tell you what's going on because I don't know, but I can speculate. My speculation is that the cattlemen know what's going on. And the cattlemen know there is some attempt out there to throttle the meat markets, to stop them. This is my speculation. This is my conspiracy theory based on what I know. I know when all of a sudden you can't get a butcher date anytime until 2021, the cattlemen have booked all those dates. So they are either selling direct to their customers, which I applaud, or selling direct to the customer, or they got 12 freezers going in their huge barn dominiums, and they're going to fill those things up because they know what's coming down. Now, yeah, we still got working butchers, but you just can't get in. I have 3 dates booked for pigs between now and the middle of August. But because of some stupid laws that got passed, they can't do pigs and cows and stuff on the same day. So they have to do like pigs one day, cow the next day, whatever. That makes it a lot harder. My supposition, based on a lot of years doing this, is that the cattlemen know what's going down and they are trying to get ahead of the curve, either for themselves or trying to profit off of it. But things look to be getting worse and not better. Now the question is this the whole thing? Is that the whole story? Is the thing actually the thing? Or is the thing not the thing? And the thing is actually something completely other? That's really the question. Because I'm concerned that there's another agenda at work here. Let me permit me to speculate, completely speculating. And I want to preface this by saying I'm allowed to believe whatever I want to believe. And I have a serious problem with people who get offended when you believe differently than them, especially when it comes to things like personal preference, personal religion, irreligion, whatever it is. And so I'm not going to be talking about religion, but I'm going to start off using it as a qualifier because it'll help you understand my point of view. Because I'm very likely going to offend some people here in just a minute, and I'm going to prepare you for it. So here's the thing. If your religion, if you have one, and you have one, even if you're an atheist, you have one. If your real religion is not exclusive, then it's not a religion. It's just a fantasy. Okay? And so that probably got some people going off right there. And so the thing is, why in the world would I be upset when somebody who's, I don't know, Islamic or somebody who's of a different religion than me does not think that my disbelief in them or their God disqualifies me from whatever it is? I should be disqualified if I disbelieve whatever it is the thing is that they think you have to believe. Likewise, it is perfectly sane for me to have a belief system that is exclusive, and those who are not included in it are excluded from its benefits eternally or whatever. Somehow we ended up in a place in this country that to tell somebody, well, you're going to go to hell. I don't tell people that, but to tell them that somehow bothers them. Why would it bother you? If you don't believe in my God, why in the world would you care? I don't understand why you would care. Why do people get upset and they're offended that somebody of a different religion believes that their religion excludes you? That's what it's called. That's the definition of it. I'm trying hard not to laugh really, really hard because it's so absurd to me. And so likewise, let's get out of the realm of religion. If I have a belief system, let's say you are a vegan, all right, and you believe that meat is murder, why in the world would you care whether I disagree with you or not? Why I don't understand why. If I say, listen, I think there's a conspiracy to force Western civilization to go meatless. And the reason I think that is because I think a lack of meat in the diet, especially animal fat, makes you stupid. Let's just say that. How in the world can somebody get offended by that? I think you need animal fat, and once you remove animal fat from your diet, you start to slip into insanity. And I think if we took I don't know, some kind of blood test of the people who are just bat crap crazy out there, who are out there, you know who I'm talking about, the lady out there with the dog that was like calling the cops on the guy. I bet you anything she doesn't eat animal meat or animal fat. So if you're upset by me believing that, and you can't just like, hey, who cares what that guy? He's just a guy on the internet. Who cares what he thinks? Don't be. It doesn't mean I don't care about you. Doesn't mean I can't hang out with you and we can't throw a frisbee. I happen to think that there's moves afoot. Some of them, I got sun coming in this window and hit me right in the eye. Some of them larger than others to force us into a meatless society. Because when everybody goes meatless, people will be, and they're already stupid, they will be so stupid and they'll actually believe anything. Anything. So there, I said it. That's my conspiracy theory of the day. My conspiracy theory is all of this is a plot. Everything. COVID, the riots, all of this is a plan to take away the meat. All right? All right. Hi, Dana. I want to go back here to the comments. Is too much of something a problem? Well, by definition, if you put the word too before much, it's a problem. It's the problem is who gets to define what is too much. Yes, too much of anything is a problem because it's too much. But who gets to decide? That's the question. You're right, Hava. Absolutely. They get upset because they have to be right and everyone has to agree with it. I think it goes beyond that. There's something very personal. And I have a lot of you here probably, and a lot of my good friends are Mormons. I have had some Mormons get very, 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 very upset with me about things just because I don't automatically say they're like, well, embrace your thing, but embrace our thing too. No, I'm not going to. I love you. I'm not going to. I don't expect you to embrace my thing. I don't expect anybody out there to embrace my thing. I say what I believe to be true, and if you don't like it, that's fine. You get to believe what you believe and all that. We just move on. We have other relationships. Daniel said he was offended before I started the video. And so my conspiracy theory is only halfway in jest. I think there's a spiritual thing at work here, and I think that's a part of it. I think they know that in order to get what they want out of America, which is a reset button, erase civilization and start over with a whole new set of morality, I think they're going to have get rid of the meat. Can't have people out there eating meat. Some lady in Montana is buying truckloads of pigs. They're already sold before they got here. China has the pork industry, and they're stealing the poultry industry. Yep. A lot of the processing plants have been forced to shut down since they can't stand that far from the processing line. Yeah. Yeah, and so here's the thing. I'm not telling anybody you have to eat meat or that I'm going to shun you if you don't eat meat. I'm just saying that if you do it for long enough, especially the animal fat portion, I think that you will lose your mind. I think so. I'm not a scientist. I'm not any of those things. I'm just a guy who like watches stuff and figures things out. Sometimes I'm wrong, but quite often it's shocking how often I'm right. Some of you watching this have hello, Rajan from Mother Russia. All right, good to have you here. Some of you have been following my stuff for, I don't know, 20 years. And you are probably shocked at how often I'm right. I've been so right since the beginning of the illness that we shall not mention, which I accidentally mentioned a little while ago. Probably going to get this video demonetized. All you would have to do is, if you want to know what's going to go on in the future, you just watch this show every night. So I'm telling you the story about the meat people in this area. I live in cattle country. All right, this is cattle country. That's all we have out here is cattle and hunting. Some people grow some hay, but they grow it for the cattle. And when the cattle people are booking all of the little butchers, they're not selling to the meat plant. So there's no way that price is going down. Right? Am I right? Can I get an amen? And so I put out today that I was going to take some cows to the butcher, but I can't get cows to the butcher. not till February 8th. So unless somebody out there knows a butcher who will actually take some of my cows, looks like we're stuck with pig meat for a while. I have 3 dates set up for pork, starting end of June into all the way between there and August 7th. I would rather buy local too. And so the other option is that when it gets cooler, I'm going to have to butcher some cows myself and start making a bunch of hamburger. And so I was going to do a deal. I had this whole plan. So I just telling everybody, a bunch of you contacted me today about getting some hamburger. Probably not going to happen. Probably not. If you want pork sausage is like hamburger. It's just pork. Let me know. I'll be taking one of them in June 17th. Could you get your community together to do a butcher day? I could if I was still a part of the community, but I'm not. So probably not going to do that. And since we live off grid and it's really, really hot, it probably wouldn't work anyway. But I like the way you're thinking. And another option for me would be to invest money I don't have in a cold room and a freezer. Cold room's pretty easy. You build a good room in your barn, insulate it real well, put a couple of air conditioners on there. I just don't have any electrical power. So stuck out again. See, I've been right on the mark for those other things. I'm tending towards believing you on this. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Historians are mostly right. That's true. We have a tendency to carry forward patterns. We are good at pattern recognition. Hey, I'm glad to see everybody's kind of in a good mood, even though I started off by insulting everybody who doesn't eat meat. So anyways, yeah, so there's where I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about my meat suppositions, my meat theory? And regardless of really what you think, the issue about the cattlemen taking the butcher dates, like every butcher, my wife called them all, tells me they know something's up. They know something up. Well, I do know stuff because of the time travel thing. That's right. I try not to bring that up too much. It gets flagged in the algorithms, and then the time cops go back and watch these videos. Well, see, you guys are all like, you got great ideas. You're like, have a sausage making day. You forget I live off grid, and a cow or a pig. I did a pig during the challenge without any refrigeration or any of that, and it was a tough deal. Did it all by myself, but I don't want to do that again. So, well, they are capitalizing on the high prices. Those are two sides of the same coin. They're capitalizing on it because they're forced to or because they're able to. The high prices, um, cattlemen are like anybody else. They always could have been butchering their own animals or having them butchered and then arranging deals where people went to the butcher to pick up the meat. But it's a lot easier to not do that. You don't make as much per pound, but just run them through the barn and then you're done with them. You get a check and you're done with them. If you get 40, 50, 60 head that you can run through there at a time, you get a pretty sizable check. You can go build a new barn, buy yourself a new truck. Most of them are not just sitting back going, oh, I would love to have to arrange 50 butchering times and have customers have to go there because I can't sell it. Go meet at the butcher and then pay the butcher and then pay me for. It's just a lot of trouble. I mean, it'd be great for somebody like me, but big cattle people are probably not. That's probably not a big motivation. So phase 3, loss of meat. Yeah. Now everybody needs to know I'm speculating here. This is not a prophecy. I do see things coming, and most often I'm right. And I have been saying stuff about meat since early March. Hand tools and bodies, you're right. But there's more to it than that. Temperature has a lot. You can smoke you unless you've done it at 100 degrees. Yes, you can get a bunch of people and you can do it. You can get 5 people, you can do it. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Um, and you can't smoke them the same day. That's not the way it works. It has to be cured and salted first. Anyway, there's a lot to it. There's more than I can explain right here. We need meat for certain nutrients. That's true. Our brains and joints need fat. They do, and it's the kind of fat too. It's the kind of fat that it is. Um, I'm not saying that you don't eat meat for a week and you're gonna turn into thinking that you're a Batgirl or something. Hello, War Dog Hein. Last days. What are your thoughts about this? Boy, that's a big topic. I don't know. You have to give me more specific question because that's like an entire area of theology called eschatology, and people spend their whole lives studying it. And so let me. Uh, oh, where is it? I hate it when I moved my books around. Anyways, there's a book by Durham on Revelation, and it's that thick. So my thoughts on that, and I've studied a lot. So my commentary on the first 10 books of um, Genesis goes into 500,000 words. So my commentary on the last days would be pretty long. We don't have enough time in the next 20-something minutes. But if you have a specific question, I'll be glad to deal with it. All right, the Goodwill stores around here just reopened. I checked them out, and there's nothing usable in them right now. Yeah, the Goodwill store near here, they had a lot of things like T-shirts. Hello, Adams. Edna Angela Herbst Adams. Hello. Um, yeah, last days is a good topic. I just, like I said, it's a huge topic. And like with the gospel, modern church has departed from what was taught by the entire church for hundreds and thousand years. And so it would take a lot of, what do you call it, disassembly. There's a lot of disassembly involved. Like it is even trying to explain the gospel to a lot of people anymore. They've heard the false American Western gospel so often for so long every day of their lives that try to tell them the true gospel, they can't even hear it. All right, dry ice is cheap. Best add when making sausage and heat. All right, you're wrong if you think I'm going to have a ton of volunteers. I can't get a volunteer out of here to do anything. Maybe one. Anyways, I know you've got this on your mind that we're all going to sit out here and make a bunch of sausage out in West Texas. I mean, out in Central Texas. I've told you I've already done it. I know how to do it. It's not going to happen. Hello from Mars. I thought you said you were in Russia. 65 of my subscribers are from Mars. Well, that's good to know. So is it like you're maybe trying to get some attention? Hey, everybody, hit the like button, even if you're from Mars. I see that we have quite a few people watching the telecast, or whatever you want to call this broadcast, from 5 different platforms, but only 5 people have hit the like button. And the like button is free. And the like button makes it where more people get to hear me speculating about the meatless conspiracy, the conspiracy to make us meatless so that we get stupid and insane. I will tell you this. This is purely anecdotal, and go back 3 videos or so and watch my anecdotal fallacy. So this is a fallacious argument. Not all anecdotal evidence is fallacious. Anecdotal evidence just means it's something that you know or something that you've noticed. It doesn't prove the point, but it can add weight to the point. If I see somebody on a video like the Karen lady in the park, or the lady just screaming for no reason, or the lady that was like telling people she was getting run over by a car that wasn't even moving, or I see any of those people, first thing I think of is I bet you they don't eat meat. I'm just gonna dig myself in deeper. Somehow this is gonna get picked up and it's gonna be passed around, and I'm gonna have like vegan protesters outside using vegetable fat to light their lanterns, their torches. Michael Bunker for president. All right, I'm with you. Um, I told everybody what I'm gonna do. First day, I'm gonna fire everybody and then quit. I'm gonna release all the documents. I'm gonna fire everybody. I'm gonna quit. First day. I have friends who see the current circumstances in the word as meaning the Lord's return will be very soon. Well, every day you wake up, the Lord's return is very soon because it's always sooner than when you went to bed. And since I absolutely believe the Lord will return, and I believe we're in the last days, even if that last days has been this 2,000 years, every day is closer to that day. So as far as identifying current events prophetically, that you have to be really careful. Most of the time, that stuff is cherry picked, and it ignores huge epics of history that more perfectly fulfilled um, a lot of those passages. I believe there's layered fulfillings of those passages. I'm not saying that any time in history has no prophetic significance, because it does. But I'm saying that to take a particular snapshot, whether it's Y2K or whether it's 1988 or whether it's 1948 or the million times since then, there's a great book that I would recommend to you by a guy named, his name's going to come to me, Thomas Fleming. I know the name Fleming is right, and I think the name Thomas is right, and somebody can fact check me as I say this. He wrote a book in about 1699. And that book was basically written because everybody had become convinced that because of what was going on in the world and because of the Great Fire, because of all these things that had happened during the 1600s, that the Lord was going to return midnight 1700. And people were like selling all their stuff, getting robes of white. I mean, it was the crazy stuff that was going on. And everybody was convinced. And so this guy wrote basically a series of sermons in 1699 telling everybody to chill out a little bit. And so in order to let them know that there were still multiple prophecies yet to be fulfilled, and some of them were very obvious in scripture, he wasn't prophesying anything. He wasn't saying this is the day the Lord's going to return, but he was saying, listen, stuff still got to happen. A lot of stuff still got to happen. And if somebody will look up that book, I think his name is Thomas Fleming. I'm going to be president for one day. I will be president one day. That's right, because then I'm going to quit. Somebody look up that book. I'm trying to think of the name off the top of my head. I think it's called The Rise and Fall of Antichrist. I think that's what it's called. Thomas Fleming. So I have so much stuff in my brain that it makes it very difficult for me to sometimes things get wires get crossed. So look up Rise and Fall of Antichrist, Thomas Fleming, if somebody can look that up. Anyways, he wrote this book, and in that book, not as a way of prophesying or predicting things, he said, listen, we still have to see the fall of the Ottoman Empire, which should happen about this year. And he gave the year, and I think he got it dead on. It was like 1948 or something like that. We still have to see the end of the French Empire. He got that right to the year. And this was in 1699. And so after he went through all of his stuff, and remember, his stuff was not saying this is going to happen. He was saying this stuff's still got to happen, and it'll probably happen around this time. He had the return of the Lord happening sometime around 2015 to 2017 or something like that. I don't remember. You have to read the book. But it's an interesting book, and I only bring that up to tell you every epoch, if you cherry pick data and you don't look at the broad scope of the church age in comparison with prophecy, you are liable to make a mistake. And there are people out there who will do that because that allows them to build an audience and allows them to get people stirred up and emotion gets involved and all that. So I am not telling you not to study prophecy, and I'm not telling you anything other than take your time. If you want to study some good resources rather than modern pop prophecy books, which have this in common: they are always wrong. And they never have to be right. They never have to be right because everything is still future. So here's a clue. The unveiling, the revelation, was from that time all the way to the end. It wasn't about some window of time in the last 3.5 or 7 years, and it wasn't about some window of time right around 70 AD. It was about the whole church age. That book is a revelation of Christ being revealed through the entire church age. There's a clue. Robert Fleming. I always get that wrong. Robert Fleming. So if your eschatology has you convinced that all of prophecy is being fulfilled in the last 3.5 or 7 years of time, you have a eschatology that was designed by a Jesuit. And if you have an eschatology that says, no, all of this stuff was already fulfilled way back in 70 AD, you have a eschatology that was designed by a Jesuit priest. All of that is in my book. I wrote a book about it. You can't get it. I will show it to you, though. You could get it if you have hundreds of dollars. Robert Fleming the Younger. Swarms of Locusts. The Jesuit Attack on the Faith by Michael Bunker. 2002. Try to find this. Try to buy you one. It costs you hundreds of dollars. People are looking for them, but you can't get one. All right. And I've written a lot of other stuff. I wrote a whole book on Antichrist. I wrote a whole book. I wrote half a book on the Revelation. And so everybody just, I mean, if you're really looking for some good resources, the good resources take a lot of time and effort. I will point you in the right direction. Just private message me or something. Zachariah Patterson has one of those on the shelf. Well, hold on to it or sell it. I don't know what the price is right now, but they're pretty steep. All right, so what else we got on? So we talked a little bit about that, a little bit about end times. Just remember the one clue: the end times are the entire church age. So those prophecies are being fulfilled continuously through to the end. Not all at one time, not all in the last 3.5 or 7 years. All right. Well, this has been a weird show. All my atheist and vegan friends are like, what the hell? Am I able to reprint them for sale? I could. I'm probably waiting to do a second edition. I have one that is reprinted. Somebody was reprinting them, and I gave them permission to at one point, and they were spiral bound. But if somebody wanted to do that, you could probably get one on Amazon and pay some good money for it, and then reproduce them. But I'm not really that interested in it because I was that was 18 years ago, so I was in my 30s. when I wrote that. I probably wouldn't change much, but I'm a better writer now too, so I probably would like to rewrite it, introduce a lot of new stuff that's happened since then. It is a very, pardon me, very inflammatory book. Very, what do you want to call it? Offensive, very offensive. You just have to go read the reviews. This has been a weird show, man. If you guys have questions or comments, just go ahead and type them in. I'll be glad to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Sorry about the fact. Oh, I had another thing I got to talk to you about. Okay, so if you're out there and you are a Patreon patron of mine, and there are a lot of Patreon patrons, I am sad to inform you that you should probably cancel your patronage. I had a good friend tell me the other day, they say don't shoot the horse that you're riding, unless that horse is going in a very dangerous direction very quickly. Um, I hate to do it because for so long, Patreon has really kind of kept us going in a lot of ways, along with some of you who are have been loyal supporters. But Patreon tried to cut my throat probably about 3 years ago when they went hard left, SJW, and basically about half of my patrons dropped Patreon because they just don't want to do business with Patreon anymore. So now, all of a sudden, all right, Natasha. Hey, Natasha, we talk about anything. It could be donuts. It could be. There's a lot of stuff. I try to follow the lead of what people want to talk about. I am pretty well read, so we can go into a lot of different areas. And right, this has been a weird show. So, anyways, going back to Patreon, uh, it's hard to cut your own throat, and right now that's over $250 a month that we count on. And but Patreon has now decided. They say that the law has forced them to do it, but it's not true. They have decided that they're going to start to charge sales tax on your patronage, and I just can't. I can't put up with that. And they say they have to, and they don't. It's something they want to do. It allows them to handle more money, and they don't. They get to hold that money for months and months before they have to report it and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not. I mean, I don't want to accuse them of float like the rest of the financial industry, but I'm just saying their politics have ruined what was a good thing. So I just want to tell you all that you can move your patronage, and I would like you to move your patronage if you would. If you would not like to see me get my financial throat cut, right down here at the bottom, forget the part about sponsoring on Patreon. You can become a direct patron by going to michaelbunker.com. Oh, that link is wrong. I changed the link. Hold on just a second. I got to go do something real quick. We changed that link yesterday. There's a new link. I should have thought about this before the show started. So I got to find a way. Hold on just a second. There it is. There's the new link, and you're going to have to type it in because it's not a clickable link. You can pause this at some time and you can get it. So here's the thing. You can go to that link or just go to michaelbunker.com. It'll say partner subscriptions up there. Click on that, go to direct donate, and then you can set it up by the month and do that. So I hate to take time from this wonderful show to tell you that I am trying to get everybody to cancel their patronage. That's going to cost me a lot of money because 90% of the people who do that will not redo it. It's just anything that takes more than one step, you lose a lot of people. And so we're probably going to lose a lot of money out of this. But if you would, go to michaelbunker.com, click on partner subscription, and go move your patronage. All right. All right, Nancy. Thank you for doing that. I don't trust any large social media outlet. Me either. Yeah, it's bad. And one of the things I'm trying to do, going through StreamYard now, is that this one video service is only one now. We're going through 5 different outlets, and we can expand that if we want to some private stuff. We're also going to be eventually streaming directly through my website at michaelbunker.com. Hit the like button. So we're going to be streaming directly through michaelbunker.com. So if you don't like some of these social media outlets, you don't like Facebook, you don't like Twitter, you don't like YouTube, whatever it is, you will be able to watch this show and the videos that I upload, etc., eventually directly through michaelbunker.com. All right, so there's a bunch of you out there, and you're probably thinking, what in the world? We started off talking about the meat conspiracy. Then we started talking about the end times. Then we find out there's books that Michael's written that we didn't even know about. I tell you what, I've written a lot of books you don't know about. I've written a lot of books, and a lot of books have not been published. And then he's talking about all kinds of stuff, and now he's telling people to stop giving him money. That's not what I'm telling you. All right, so I'm here for a little while. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything you want to talk about, if you'd like to bring something back up or anything else you want to talk about, I'm here for you. This light, it's going to get worse as we get into June, July. The sun right this time of day is coming right through this window. So we got a bookshelf for here that's blocking that window. And now somebody needs to go to my Amazon.com wish list, which is down below at YouTube. And we need to put one right there. This is all a con. It's one of Bunker's con jobs to get free bookshelves. He created an entire show, almost died during the 30-day challenge, and sits here every night for a full hour just because he wants a bookshelf. That's what it is. Move to North. I need the sun. I need the sun because that's what's powering all this stuff. Everything you see, this light right here, this laptop, this mouse, all of this is running through solar power. Everything. We are off grid. So we got to have the sun, but I don't need it coming through that window is the only thing. All right, y'all get some questions and comments in. We're at 47 minutes. We still got some time. It was cloudy here all day. And so I didn't get a whole lot of work done today or yesterday because it's been so cloudy. And it's pretty hot right now. And I'm actually sweating pretty good. So wind, no. Wind is a good theory. Wind is a bad power source unless it's free, and it's not because that equipment needs a lot of repair time. So solar is the way to go, but I need batteries and I don't have them. All right. So, that light coming in that window. Look at that. I can sit back here with me looking over my shoulder. I was listening to a podcast you did with another guy. I'm interested to hear your backups for livestock feed. All right. Yeah. So I've done quite a few podcasts with people, but, one of the biggest is to grow your own. Of course, if you can keep them on pasture, that's good. For one whole year, a lot of our animals I fed through, I got a scythe and I cut grass and hauled it to them. And so, then you don't have to buy feed. But mainly, if you can keep them on pasture or you can grow your own feed. 2012, 2015, we had a huge wheat crop that would last us 2 or more years. In fact, I just found during the challenge, I found some wheat in our granary that was from 2015 crop. By the way, love StreamYard, using it for church and other things. Yeah, I just got onto it, and now it's cost me $50 a month. And by the way, we have 4 donors now at $10 a month. One more, and we get StreamYard paid, $10 a month, and then we need 5 more for the plugins and other stuff that I need to get. Go to that same page, michaelbunker.com/partners-subscription, go to that same page, and you can do a $10 monthly subscription to help us pay for that. We need one more to get StreamYard paid for. Thank you for bringing that up, Bob. And so, yeah, this light, and it's tricking out the camera. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I've been studying more like YouTube, like how to do stuff so it looks professional. It doesn't look like junk. Doesn't look like some guy who lives off grid and chasing pigs half the day is trying to make a recording. And so, studies Russian. I'm like, that's like my superhero tagline. It's like he chases pigs during the day. And he studies Russian literature and all of that in the side. That's what he does. Studies Russian literature and defeats logic fallacies. That's my superpower. That and time travel. Well, I don't see any questions coming in. We're at 50 minutes, and that's probably going to be cutoff time. I told everybody you're supposed to hit the like button. If you are not on Facebook, as soon as this thing is over, jump on over to YouTube, go to youtube.com/bunkdad, and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We need subscribers. That's the thing. Michael, I've known you for over 20 years, and the people that do not like you do not like the truth. That's true. Those things do seem to go hand in hand. So sad that people do not like the truth. They're lost. God bless you and your ministry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Encouragement is wonderful, and it's rare, and it's from the Lord. I appreciate it. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to go to the YouTube channel and hit the like button and subscribe. If you're watching this later on YouTube because somehow something happened and YouTube like asked you to watch it, and then you like freaked out the whole time. He said people that don't eat meat go crazy. And you got this far, then just subscribe because I say crazier stuff than that. All right, y'all. I appreciate it. And if I can find my mouse, I'm looking around because I lost my mouse thingy. There it is. All right, I got to go. I love you. I'll talk to you later.